I have 9 thousands. I want to see how many each one of these gets. So I'm going to pass it out really fairly. I'll pass out 1,000 to each of my 4 here, and it looks like I have enough to do this again, so I'm going to do it again. Okay, so each one of these has 2. I have 1 left in here, but as you know from your work with like Stamp Game and Golden Bees and all that, it's not cool to give one of these guys 1 more than the rest of them. So I'm just going to take that back. So remember that the answer in division is always what 1 unit gets. The answer in division is always what 1 unit gets. Doesn't matter if I'm dividing 8 by 4. It doesn't matter if I'm dividing 9,764 by 4. Doesn't matter if I'm dividing 400 million by 4. The answer in division is what 1 unit gets. So I can see that 1 unit has gotten 2 thousands. This is a short division problem. So the only thing that I want to record is what 1 unit gets. The Skittles on the board have received thousands, so I'm going to put my 2 above the thousands place. I'm just going to record a 2 right there. In your album, the problem is written out long ways. Like, I don't know why you would write it out long ways. If you're doing like this total like sensorial, like really easing them into it, I suppose you could use, like the division symbol with the 2 dots. I don't really know why you would do that. It seems like an easy enough explanation to say each one of our Skittles just received thousands, so I'm going to go above the thousands place. So now I'm going to clear the board. I never want to clear the board until I've recorded my stuff. I've recorded my stuff, I'm going to clear the board. That'll happen. All right. So I've cleared the board, but remember I still have this guy in here. I could do this and just dump it in there, but that's kind of weird because I have 1,000 rolling around in there with all my hundreds. So we're going to take this thousands bead and we're going to put it back in the thousands in exchange for 10 hundreds. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm going to dump them in. I'm going to take my thousands, I'm going to say adios. I'm back over here, and I'm going to bring my hundreds down. So I have the 700s that were in there before, plus 10 from that exchange. So I have a total of 17. Now I'm going to distribute this 17 to these 4. And I've been saying this for like 10 years, but I really am going to develop a magnetic board, I think, at some point. So I'm just giving 100 to each one. Once they all have the same amount, I'm starting back over. All right. Got 1 left. Not fair. Put that back. So remember, the answer in division is what 1 unit gets. It looks like each one of those has received 4 hundreds. The only thing I'm going to record is my 4. The units received hundreds, so I'm going to look for my hundreds place in my dividend, and right above there, I'm going to put a 4. That's a good question. I believe that. Does it talk about color in the album? I don't think it does talk about color in the album. Personally, I think at this age, we kind of need to be like, just sort of figuring this out, But what you could do, can you hand me a green, a red, a blue pencil? Colored pencil? as far as I would go with this probably is doing something like this. So like color the column, color the column, color the column, color the column. And so that way, even if you make strips when you get down to long division, you can still kind of see what you're dealing with. I think that that's an option. I don't think that you absolutely have to do that, and I do think that at this age, I mean, they're going to be 9 or 10 when you're doing this with them. It's unless you have somebody that you know needs that visual, I would not color code all my numbers. They should be. They've had lots of work with this with other materials, so they should be pretty good with it. Thank you for mentioning that. That's a good question. Okay, so now I'm going to clear my board. Try to use this sort of like a vacuum cleaner that I'm just sucking them up into. Sometimes the vacuum cleaner works better than others. 10. So even there, I got one more in there, so we're always going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got this one other one there. So it's really going to go in with the 10s, but we don't want that 100 speed rolling around in there. I'm going to take this 100 speed. I'm going to put it back in exchange for 10 10s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Dump those in. Say goodbye to our 100s and bring down the 10s. So I just added 10 from my exchange, and I had 6 in there already. So I should have 16 10s. I'm going to distribute those to my 4. I'm doing it very fairly so that everyone gets the same amount. Distributing one at a time like we have been. In there. Thank you. So this is the first time, this actually worked out great. Everybody got 4 and I don't have any left. So going back over to my problem here, each one of my units received 10s, so I'm going to go above my 10. I'm going to put a 4 because they received 4 10s. I have nothing left in here to pass over, and so now I'm going to clear the board. Finished with these. I'm going to bring down my units. I have 4 units. I have 4 Skittles. I'm guessing everybody's going to get 1. And they did. I have nothing left. Every one of my units there received 1. So above the units place, I'm going to put 1. And so our answer is 2,441. 9,764 divided by 4 is 2,441.